Hello everyone. India's real estate prices are soaring and people are buying houses like how? While there are many affordable housing schemes which the centre and various state governments have brought out to enable people from the economically weaker sections to buy budget-friendly homes, the concept and the definition of affordability itself is undergoing a massive transformation. Here are a few numbers which will probably illustrate the point that I'm trying to make. In 2019, that is 4 years ago, 16% of all houses sold and new houses launched were in the price bracket of rupees 1 crore. Cut to 2023, 37% of all new houses, that is houses launched, and 29% of all new houses sold were priced at above rupees 1 crore. So what does it tell us? It tells us that prices of houses have gone up. At the same time, people are now buying more houses which are priced higher. In fact, houses that are priced at above rupees 1 crore have outpaced both in terms of sales and new launches of any other price bracket. Sounds bullish? Prospects are bright? Or is it a bubble? How is it likely to play out? To talk about all of these and much more, for this episode of Keeping It Real, I have with me Ms. Ankita Sood, Head of Research, Housing.com, PropTiger.com and Makan.com, who tracks all of these like the back of her palm. Hello and a warm welcome, Ankita. Delighted to have you for the show. It's such a delight because last time we spoke about luxury and premium houses. This time let's try and extend it further and also talk about prices and the concept of affordability and how it's playing out in the market. You know, Ankita, prices have been rising and we see that there has been a big spike in demand for houses in the rupees 1 crore plus price bracket. Where do you see this going?
So, of course, post 2019, it's only the luxury segment per se, though, from our perspective, we refrain from using the word luxury because it's very subjective. But in the 1 to 2 crore price bracket and even in the 3 crore to 5 crore price bracket, there has been a significant shift. Let's say, previously it was 15% prior to 2019, the sales in this segment, which has gone up to 35-38% currently. Now, and of course, your ticket size also goes up when it's just not the homes. So the ticket size, because these are larger homes, also goes up. So hence that 5 crore or 3 crore number is what we see. Now, when you ask me where is this going, so I think this is going to be there for some time because post-pandemic, with a lot of disposable income, we see that, as per certain surveys, there has been a significant growth in the HNI segment as well. So, for the coming, 1 to 2 years, we will see that the share will continue to grow, not at the same pace,
right.
Let's say growing from 15 to 38% that we saw, but it will, significantly gain traction, which was, negligible prior to 2019.
Absolutely. And we see the demand, for high-priced houses actually quite uniform across the top 8 cities and also tier 2 cities. Does it signify a rising income levels and spending ability?
Absolutely. So, this does signify rising income levels, and like in the previous episode, we were talking about discretionary spending. Now, discretionary spending is something that you do which is not a necessity, right? So, that has happened across travel, across, across the consumption basket, fashion or your furniture, etc. We see so many luxury brands entering the country. So, discretionary spending per se has only gone up. And on the property side of it, home is just not a necessity now.
Right.
Home is also a place where you find a safe haven, where you find a sanctuary. And this sentiment, when we were speaking to a couple of home buyers, this has been pronounced post 2019. Now, Gaurav, affordability is also a relative term, right? Something which is in Ahmedabad and is affordable in Ahmedabad, might just be non-existent in Mumbai.
Right.
Right? So something which is affordable in Mumbai might be luxurious in Ahmedabad. It might.
Absolutely.
So affordability currently is also a very relative term, depending upon city to city.
Right. Absolutely. And what role do you see of stable interest rates, and what is the to what extent interest rates is also a key determinant in all of this, stability in interest rates?
Interest rates, definitely they determine your home loan, they determine your monthly off goes, the rate that you have to service. We very interestingly drew a comparison between interest rates and the primary sales that's happening in the market.
Right.
And you'll be surprised, Gaurav, there was no correlation at all. Interest rates definitely are sentiment boosters, but they do not determine the offtake of sales. So absolutely, interest rates, if they are currently, they are the RBI is maintaining its accommodative stance. We've seen them being stabilized,
right,
for the past couple of monetary policy meetings. So they are a sentiment booster, but they do not determine the demand offtake, because the credit growth is happening at a stellar pace.
Absolutely. The other thing, Ankita, that probably we need to address is also how long is this going to sustain? Do you think at some point the secular rise in property prices probably is going to temper demand, or do you think this is going to sustain for quite some time now?
The current rise in property prices is a function of demand also, but you also need to see it from a historical perspective. Prior to 2019, let's say coming off RERA in 2016, we saw that a lot of supply side consolidation happened. Now many developers did not launch projects, Gaurav, post the RERA. It was mostly in single digit. So this is also a lot of pent up supply that's coming in the market, which is servicing the pent up demand, right? And that is actually pushing up the prices. So there has been no supply, and there is a lot of demand, which has aggregated over these years. So it's a mix of both of those things. When demand and supply equilibrium will be reached, let's say a couple of 25, or we see a lot of new supply coming in around 25 as well, we will see that the market will stabilize.
Absolutely. Let's change tack a bit and probably narrow down the focus. There was this whole concept of affordability and affordable housing schemes, both by the center and various state governments. We have the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, for instance, or even the DDA housing schemes here in Delhi. Do you see an uptick in the prices of even those segments, houses under those schemes?
Not per se, because these are capped. And let's talk on the private. So these are government. DDA is government,
Right.
MADA is government.
Right.
So these are capped, right? Whereas if we're looking at a private developer entering due to some policy, let's say in Haryana we had the Haryana affordable housing policy.
Right.
That was very prominent. During 2017, we saw a lot of supply coming under that policy. So there we don't see much of supply now coming in the market, because of course the construction cost has also gone up, and it only makes sense for these projects to come within the city center. Doesn't make sense on the outside where land is cheaper, right? So, and there is no demand per se in this particular segment, because this was the segment which got maximum hit during the pandemic.
Right.
Right. So there is not much traction happening, and also then the supply side, the developers are not getting into these projects. Also, it's not viable at the current market scenario to get into an affordable housing project.
Absolutely. And finally, Ankita, it's on the concept of quote unquote affordability and affordable houses. Do you think the concept itself has undergone a transformation given the new demand supply dynamics and also income growth?
So affordability, like I said, is very relative. And over the past 10 years, definitely the concept of affordability, not only in real estate, across has changed.
Right.
And we see, recently only it came out, our middle class needs to be redefined, and which, is something that we need to look at across the consumption basket as well. So affordability is quite relative. Affordability depends from city to city as well. But we don't see, we don't have to have the same classification and brackets that 1 to 3 CR is luxury.
Right.
Now the brackets have moved.
Right.
And 10 years is a long time.
Absolutely.
So that will, we'll need to redefine our classifications
Absolutely. And the needle has moved and firmly. Thank you so much, Ankita, for dropping by and having this conversation with us and taking the time out to share your insights and perspective.
Thank you for having me here, Gaurav.
That's it from us for this episode. We'll be back again with a fresh episode of Keeping It Real by Housing.com with information and insight of the real estate industry, whether you are a pro or a beginner. We'll keep you informed and entertained about the world of real estate in India. This is Keeping It Real by Housing.com, where we keep it real always. You can catch the episode on Spotify.com, on Google Podcasts, on Apple Podcasts, on Housing.com, on the Housing.com app, on JioSaavn, on Ghana, and of course, on YouTube. Take care and stay safe.